This video is to provide instructions on how to upload a video onto YouTube and share it within the Halton Cloud. So this video will be specific to if there is a video file already on your computer. So I have several video files already on my computer, and I will just browse to them in my documents. They can be anywhere, of course, but here are my videos, the whole bunch of them, because I record often. And our first step is to actually open up Google Chrome and browse to YouTube. So that's our first step. And I'll go to YouTube. Here's YouTube. And I want to make sure I'm signed in. And I'm going to use my Halton Cloud account. And as it turns out, you have a YouTube account through Halton Cloud because it's a Google product and it's connected to your Halton Cloud account, which is wonderful. So there's my username's already been entered, so I'll just enter in my password. Hopefully you're already well aware of how to do this. Otherwise, I don't know how you're getting your emails. And then once you're signed in, there's a little upload icon in the top right. And if you're not at the home, you can always click home. When you're signed in, it takes you right to this screen, and you can click upload then. I click on upload, and it's very straightforward. The first thing I want to do is I actually want to change the privacy. Now, I don't like telling people to post things publicly unless they really want to. I want this to be restricted so that only Halton District School Board members can view it. So you can do this each time you upload. You can say unlisted, which means it's still public. Anyone can access it. They don't have to be signed into an ID, but they won't find it in a search. You would have to send them the link, and then they can go to it without having to sign into anything. Private is a little bit more specific. Private's the one I like because it allows you to restrict. Not only will it not show up on searches, but it will also only be visible to the people you specify. So you can send someone the link, they still can't view it if it's set to private unless you've given them specific permission to do so. So this is the one I like because this lets you restrict only Halton people to viewing your video. So I can select private here, or if you want to do this every time, you can click here on configure defaults. This will only happen the first few times you sign in, and here are your defaults for every upload. So I'm going to make it that they're private. You can choose a category if you like, you don't have to. The license is going to be whatever you choose. You can allow people to comment. They can view ratings for the video if you like. I like allowing comments on. You can even make it so that you can approve each comment. You can set what the video language is. English UK. You can say whether or not you want captions. It can show. It will automatically suggest editing options unless you tell it not to. And that's about all you really need to do. So I've set it to private, and that's really all I changed here, and I'll just click save. So now by default, every time I go to upload a video, so if I go back home, I didn't even have to do that here, I can just click the upload icon. You'll now see that it says private every single time. And so it's really very straightforward. You can either click here in order to select a file. It'll pop up a window and you can browse to the video file you want to upload, or I can just drag and drop a pre-existing file onto this little box. See how it says copy, and I let go, and it's going to upload it. And while it's uploading, I can set the title. So this is a video, and add a description. This video is a video that is wonderful. Notice here you can also add tags. This is only if it's going to be searchable that you really need to do this. So tags will be some things that will help people identify what's in the video. It'll also give more search criteria. You can see while I'm doing this, it's actually uploading It's at 16%. It says there's 3 minutes remaining, and it tells you your status here on the left where it says I'm uploading your video, and it gives you the link that it will be available at when it's done uploading. Once it's done uploading, it actually has to run through and process it. So while it's doing that, I'm going to click the share button to set the permissions. And here, the very first box is let everyone at hdsb.ca view. So it's set to private, and I check that box, and now only people in hdsb.ca can actually watch my video, which is what we want, because we're restricting the permissions within the board to protect our privacy and the privacy of our students. And you can also share with specific people by entering in their email addresses or just their name. So if I enter in, actually, no, you have to do specific email addresses. So at hdsb.ca, and you can notify them via email that you've done this or not. I'm actually not going to bother sharing with that one specific person because everyone at HDSB can view, and I click OK, and it saves those settings for me. And notice it's actually still uploading in the background. And once it's done doing that, then it's really just a matter of waiting for it to finish. And I'm going to just use the magic of video editing to skip ahead to when it's actually finished after this 62% is done. Okay. So now it's done uploading, and you'll see it's switched to processing. So it'll continue processing. This is not something you need to leave the tab open for, although while it was uploading, you did need to leave this upload screen open or else it wouldn't work. And I can just click done because I'm finished with this, and it'll process it in the background, and it tells me when my video will be ready, where it will be available once it's done processing. And this is the link I would use to share, so I can right click it and say copy link address, and then I can just paste that into an email and send it to whoever I want. And if I click on it before it's ready, it says we're processing this video, check back later. This is in fact, though, up here the right address that I can reuse. There's also this info and settings button that returns me to those basic permissions and description and titles. If I want to change them later, I can do that. And here it's showing me that it's still processing. Okay, so now the video is finished processing, and this is the screen I get. And now if I travel to that link, it takes me to the video. It's not important what its content is. It's probably something I've already uploaded anyway. And I have all these little options underneath. There's the info and settings, is one we've already seen. Then there's an enhancements. I can work with the audio. I can add annotations, which are little pop-up windows pointing things out. Or I can add in subtitles if I wish. The thing I like most is the enhancements. The enhancements are very useful. Again, it'll start playing automatically. I don't want it to. I'll stop it. And you can have it fix the lighting and color for you as best they can, or you can adjust it manually. You can slow things down if you like. You can actually trim out parts of your video. You can also, if you record this using a shaky camera, you can have it to automatically stabilize it. And it can also do time lapse, which is the opposite of slow motion. It can go twice as fast, 4 times as fast, 6 times as fast, whatever. Filters is much like if you used Instagram, you can add like a sepia filter or something to make everything look sepia-ish. So if I actually apply this, for example, here on the right is the preview of what it would look like with this filter on. Here on the left is the original,
this
what it would look like
video
without.
Is to help.
And I can actually look how the whole video would look, or how it would be originally. I don't like using filters. This isn't Instagram after all. And then finally there's blurring effects. So you can blur faces to protect students or people's identities. You can also do custom blurring, which I like. This is what I've used in the past to hide student data. So while playing, you can actually go ahead and select an area that will blur, and then you select a time for that blur to appear. So here I can just select, I can create a box. So say I just want to blur that little piece of the screen, it'll blur it, and over here, once it's done loading, I can drag the boundaries of it. So it's done loading, and now I can actually make it blur for a longer period of time, so from the 0-minute mark up to the 4-minute mark if I choose, or I can do it starting from right where the video is up until later. It helps if you lock it in place, because these little boxes tend to drift for some reason, and I don't know why. And again, you can still move it. If you've locked it, it just stops it from automatically changing size, because it's trying to track objects in your screen. So if it thinks it's doing you a favor, it may suddenly just start to shrink for some reason, which is not what I want. I want this box blurred for this amount of time, and this helps me if I'm making a video. I can hide, people's emails, or I can hide student information, so that I don't have to make things private in order to protect my personal information and the information of others. So that's pretty much all I'm going to cover for right now. Again, any edit you make, it'll take a couple minutes for it to be reflected online, but this is hugely useful, as you can upload something to the internet and have it still restricted within the Halton Cloud, which is the point of protecting our own data and our students' identities, to make sure that there are no privacy issues. If you make a requirement for an assignment to upload a YouTube video, it is not publicly available, and that's the entire point.